This session is Making Our Communities Abortion-Free. My name is Kristen Hughes, and I work for Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and what that means is we offer cellular service. And we are all here because we are passionate about defending the most vulnerable, the unborn children. And the unique thing about Patriot is every member's bill, a portion of your bill goes to fund pro-life causes. And last year we gave $500,000 to pro-life organizations. So we have all taken the time out of our schedule to be here. So obviously we are here because we are passionate about defending God's most vulnerable. So I want to encourage you that your passion pursues your purpose. And you can join us. We have a booth, Patriot Mobile. You can join us and switch your service. So the coverage you have today, you can join us and have very similar service and coverage, except for your money will be funding what is most valuable to you. All right, now I have the privilege to introduce this amazing panel, these pro-life warriors. We have Michelle Hendrickson. She's with Dimitri Institute for the Pro-Life Advancement. We have Kate Maloney. She's the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities. Jeremiah Wilkerson, who's Tucson's Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities. We have Stephanie Stone with Students for Life, and also Jamie Curry with Students for Life. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. How is everyone? Good. Okay, I like an active audience. And also, I felt like kind of jealous. Like, what's happening over there? Can we make some noise over here? Woo! Right? We're going to make our communities abortion-free. That's exciting, right? Yes, I need it. Guys, we're a fun conference, okay? All right, so like our lovely introducer said, my name is Kate Maloney. I am the Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities manager, and today I get to speak with all of you and a lovely panel of experts about how we are going to make our cities abortion-free. Boom. So the first thing I want to do before we kind of get into, what's the solution, we have to kind of set the stage for what's the crisis, what's the urgency. Because I feel like, once Roe was overturned, which was a major victory, a victory that was well-deserved, a victory that was needed, there was almost like this lull of like, okay, what do we do now? What's happening now? And is abortion over? No. Abortion is still a major threat today, and it comes in the form of three. I feel like it always comes in threes. So ultimately, we have a huge culture shift that needs to undergo in our movement currently today. If we're looking around kind of at the national landscape of things, we're seeing that the abortion industry is trying this new method of ballot referendums, trying to bully, state constitutions to allowing abortion through all 9 months. And this is happening in around like 10 to 13 states. And so that's something that we have to face and that we have to tackle and that we have to fight. We have to fight for the culture of our states, of our cities, of our towns. That's one of the reasons why we need to make abortion-free cities. The next thing is pregnancy health disparity, something that we're going to get into today, talking about the lack of awareness that our neighbors, our communities have about the local life-affirming care that is 5 minutes, 10 minutes right down the road from them. And then lastly, chemical abortion. We all know in states where abortion is illegal, chemical abortion is still very much a threat. It's the new trend. It is happening in people's homes. I can't tell you how many TikTok videos I have watched of young women talking about their chemical abortion experiences that they've had in their own bedrooms. And it breaks my heart. This is why we have to try a new strategy. And this is why all of you are here to make your cities abortion-free. So, what's our mission? Our mission is we strategically exist in our communities to make them abortion-free by making abortion unavailable and unthinkable. How do we do that? It's by working with amazing leaders like you, We will help you cultivate a blueprint strategy where we are planning to eradicate abortion through 4 critical battles. And these are really important, and these are what we're going to talk about today. The first being to cultivate awareness of the local pregnancy help center. The second is to break community trust with the abortion industry. The third is to effectively educate our neighbors to move them in the more pro-life direction. And lastly, to have public policy wins to enshrine life in law. And our vision is that no woman stands alone and all children are protected from the violence of abortion. Now, who is this campaign for? This campaign is for every single person in this room. The pro-life generation does not have an age. It is for all. If you care about what's happening in your cities and in your towns, you can get activated. You can be a part of the solution. And so the average Joe, the person who knows abortion is wrong, you can get a campaign started. We also operate as an alumni feature. So you're all students in this room. One day, high school will end, college will end, but your pro-life leadership does not. It graduates. You take off one hat and then you put on another. And the campaign is here to support you as you extend your leadership from the campus model into your communities. And then lastly, where? Where can I start? How can I, who, where, what? Anywhere. Every state has a next step. Whether abortion's illegal, whether you're facing a ballot referendum, whether a ballot referendum is coming to your town, every state has a next step. There is something that we must talk about. There is still work to do. We need to keep tilling the garden so that we can ultimately have an abortion-free future, which I know is possible. So to get us started, here's our blueprint plan. I said that really fast. Blueprint plan. This is our strategy. And so this is how we kind of walk all our leaders, like this is how we're going to do this. And to kind of really embody what the strategy is, we're going to turn to our lovely panelists. And we're actually going to start with Stephanie Stone, who is our Standing With You coordinator. And she's going to explain to us the importance of our first critical battle, which is cultivating awareness of the local pregnancy help center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Stone. I'm the Standing With You coordinator with Students for Life. I've been with Students for Life for about 5 years, but I used to work on the field team, which was a lot of activism. Now I'm focusing on helping women and serving them to choose life, which is really near and dear to my heart because I just had my first baby not yet 5 months ago. Her name's Jane. I don't know if you saw me on the screen. I was pregnant when I was door knocking, and now she's out of the womb, and she's adorable, and I love her. But something that really stood out to me was I had all the support in the world. I have my parents really close, and I'm really, really lucky. But it was still hard for me to have my first baby. So if you can imagine someone in a crisis pregnancy who doesn't have support near them, they need us even more. So that's what Standing With You is all about. By show of hands, who knows what Standing With You is? I've seen a few at our booth today. Awesome! For those of you who don't know, Standing With You is Students for Life's initiative. It's our response to, okay, well, what do you do once the baby is born? Well, we provide resources to help someone in a crisis pregnancy or who is parenting to choose life. So you go on standingwithyou.org, you type in your zip code, and you can find all the life-affirming resources near you. So that's an amazing thing. We also work with students on campus to change their policies to be more life-affirming. So I love that, especially with my new baby, Jane. I know that women really need our help. So Standing With You is one of the cornerstones of abortion-free cities, and not just because it's at the bottom of the mountain, but it is literally foundational. If you think about it, other than shaping and changing legislation, it's important that women know where to go when they are in a crisis pregnancy. So supporting women who feel pressured to have an abortion, giving them an answer of where to go is super important. So how do we do this through abortion-free cities? Well, we're going to talk more about our door knocking campaign and effort, but basically, instead of political door knocking, what we're doing is going door to door to let people know about their local pregnancy help organizations. This is so important because I actually talked to a pregnancy help director recently, and they were saying that because of Google Ads in their community, if someone has a crisis pregnancy and they type that in Google, all they find first is Planned Parenthood. It buries the crisis pregnancy center. So this is something I thought was a huge crisis, because how are people going to find? I mean, that's the first place I'd go if I was in a crisis pregnancy, is online. So if a woman goes to Google, we want to make sure that she also has access to Standing With You, but she might not just go to Google, right? She might go to her mom, she might go to her sister, she might go to her friend locally. And we want to make sure that if she goes to that person and she says, I'm pregnant, I don't know what to do, that the person doesn't just blankly stare at her or, God forbid, send her to Planned Parenthood. We want to make sure that that person says, oh, some person was just at my door and they told me about this life-affirming resource center down the street. So that's really the work that we're doing, is increasing awareness. And what we're able to do with that is take away a customer from Planned Parenthood and provide them with life-affirming resources. So down the line, they choose life, and they can feel good about that, and they can see their child, their little miracle, and just feel at peace. So that's really one of our goals, and obviously there's so much more to the Abortion-Free Cities campaign that we'll talk about in just a little bit, but a huge part of preparing for this post-Roe America is making sure that our communities have the resources and are equipped to have this conversation. So something that we do at Standing With You that's really, really cool, it's kind of new, is we officially partner as well with pregnancy help centers. So if you go on our website, standingwithyou.org/partners, you get a bunch of free resources from us, a little sticker for your window, and also you get a little icon next to your name so people know that you're a trusted resource of Standing With You. So I encourage anyone who knows any pregnancy help organizations to send them our way, because we love to do it right and partner with our pregnancy help centers on the ground. So that's kind of how Standing With You, I mean, we do many things at Standing With You on campus and off campus, but that's kind of how we are connected with the Abortion-Free Cities campaign. But Kate, I have a question for you.
Fire away.
So what can we do to increase awareness about pregnancy help organizations?
Yes, this is an excellent question. So when we first launched this campaign, we thought to ourselves, okay, if we're going to make abortion unavailable and unthinkable, we have to show our community first how unnecessary abortion is. We have to show our community that this is a replaceable business and that their competition is much better. So when we first launched in 2021, we launched in like 20 cities because we do nothing small here at Students for Life. And our data came back to us and it showed us that 73% of our neighbors had no idea that pregnancy help centers even existed. 73%, that's a huge disparity. So we were just like, whoa, if women don't know where to have this care, how can they choose? How can you make a choice when you don't know what to choose? You don't know your options, really. And I can anecdotally tell you, just from being at the doors and having volunteers at the doors, that they tell me that many women are like, man, I wish I knew that this was here. This was really helpful. I needed X, Y, and Z, and I didn't know that I had a community center just 5 minutes down the road from me. So 73% is a huge stat that we really wanted to shift. And so that was kind of our next phase of like, okay, can we have a benchmark of like 10%? And can we increase awareness at least by 10% in our towns? And so we started doing market saturation tactics where we would go to doors, and we would go to doors multiple times over a span of months. And what we found in a handful of our cities, for example, in Cincinnati, Ohio, we were able to cultivate awareness by 25% with our efforts. In Phoenix, Arizona, by 17%, right? These are clappable things. This is very exciting. And in St. Paul, we were able to increase by 9%. So those are huge. Like, we can do this. Like, if everyone in this room activated a campaign and had those conversations, and those conversations spread, we will definitely outpace the abortion industry. They are not as passionate as us about women and families. They are not a part of our business model, right? So that is something that we can do. We can help further increase awareness of our local pregnancy help centers. And something else that we did that you get to do as part of the campaign, which is just a fun aside, is we do something called a Summer of Service, where we literally partner with local pregnancy help centers on the ground if they have any extra supplies that they're not using, and we literally take a wagon and we go door to door in underserved communities where we give out free supplies. And then we're able to activate them to the pregnancy help center. When I did this past summer, so many people were like, well, where are you? How do I come back to this? And I was able to point them to the Caring Choices, which is right down the road, which is our partner pregnancy help center. And so we are able to pour into the community, which is one of the ways that we're going to be able to have an abortion-free future. So thank you, Stephanie. That's great. Awesome. Yeah. Now, as we go up the mountain to industry impact, we want to impact the abortion industry. And so in order to do that, one of the ways that we're noticing the trends that we see is, all the misinformation that the abortion industry kind of loves to peddle. And I think what we see, how we saw that in a big way, is in Ohio, with just the trickery behind the marketing that the abortion industry used to get issue 1 passed. And so we know that when we're out door to door, that's one of the ways that we get to confront that misinformation, that we get to change the narrative, that we get to show our community, no, this is who the pro-life generation is. No, miscarriage care, everything's going to be okay. Like, we're here to present you with the facts. And so I want to just turn things over to Jamie Curry to kind of talk about the misinformation from the abortion facilities, especially in Cincinnati, and how you felt like that impacted your work that you're doing on the ground.
Yeah. So my name's Jamie Curry. I am the Ohio Regional Coordinator. Thanks, guys. These are my wonderful students. It's so great to see all of you. But yeah, I'm here to talk about kind of two sides of the misinformation. Just the misinformation that Planned Parenthood spreads, and then the misinformation that the abortion industry uses to pass these extreme ballot referendums. So I'm going to touch on the first point, speaking about the Planned Parenthood in Cincinnati, Ohio. So that is where we have our Abortion-Free Cities campaign in the state of Ohio. They've done amazing work. And this Planned Parenthood, it's about a mile off of the University of Cincinnati campus. They see a lot of students. And they actually have a Planned Parenthood Generation Action Group at the school who is helping them get around and spread this misinformation. And so I was not there that long ago, and I was out praying on the sidewalk, and an ambulance had pulled up. And they rushed, they'd had their lights off, their sirens off, and they went directly into the back of the building. The parking lot's in the back. And we're asking, what is going on? What is happening? Is everyone okay? And we never really got an answer. You go and look it up online, it never even happened. This is happening all across the country, and it's not being talked about. And they say, we're here, we're safe. No, you're not. It doesn't matter if you're pro-life or pro-choice. These places are not safe. They say they're a place to come and to support women. And the Planned Parenthood in Cincinnati, Wisconsin, about once a month is sending women to the emergency room. And you can't find any information on it. They come to the school, and some of these kids are from UC, and they talk to them, all the time, almost every day. And some of these are even paid people. They pay the students to be a part of Planned Parenthood Generation Action. And, they go out and they hand out contraception on their campus and tell people, this is completely risk-free. Completely, 100%. Well, we know that's misinformation. We know that's not true. They're not giving truth. They're not shedding, light. And, that's just part of what they're doing. Now, as we switch it over and we think about the ballot initiatives, most of this money that is coming in for these ballot initiatives are coming from Planned Parenthood and obviously the abortion industry. And we saw this really heavily play out in Ohio, and a lot of you in this room, whether it's now or it's in the future, we should all be acting as if we will have a ballot referendum. We get ahead of it now, we stop it from happening in the future. Because money talks, but it only talks so loud. And so that was one of the biggest things we saw in Ohio, is the misinformation that they were spreading was funneled by money. They were telling people that passing issue 1 would allow for miscarriage care to be protected in the state of Ohio. It was already protected. We didn't need to go the next level. We didn't need to go that far. I had an elderly woman who was emailing me, calling me, telling me about how she was pro-life but had a miscarriage, and she was so horrified on how to vote. She fully believed it, fully fell for it. And, through the Abortion-Free Cities campaign in Cincinnati, this is what is so unique. Because we did that summer of service there, we were talking about, we went and we met people at the door. And then some of us went and door knocked back in that community. We've seen you before. We trust you. You gave us free resources. We believe what you're saying. That is huge because most of the time when we were discussing issue 1 with students, they would say, oh, that makes sense. Oh, sure, the Ohio Attorney General wrote exactly what's going to happen, but Planned Parenthood is telling me that's not going to happen, and we believe them more. And so, we need to get ahead of this, and joining the Abortion Free Cities campaign, that first tier is so important because when they recognize you as a resource in your community, when you go back to them, they are going to believe you, and you can step past that misinformation relating to, miscarriage care or, ectopic pregnancy care, all of those things. And they'll believe you when you say this is abortion through all 9 months on demand, and no one needs that. So, again, the Abortion Free Cities campaign, there's so much that we can do to fight misinformation, getting out and door knocking, in a political way, but also in just a supportive services way. And just make sure that we are getting the trust of those in our community so they know they can come to us when they are in need and they can see through the lies of the misinformation.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Really just like so many excellent points. Because the pro-life movement is not out for itself, and the abortion industry is. So I love what Jamie said about if you are a service, if you are coming out, reaching out as we've been a resource. I know you, I trust you. Then that's gonna really build bridges, which is exactly what we need to do, and we need to get out ahead of what the other side is doing because we have the manpower. We just need to say yes to get out there. So really, really amazing points. And I kind of want to backpack and I want to shift things over to Michelle Hendrickson because we're talking about more about Ohio and the misinformation, but really, what is at the hearts of the average everyday American who is getting these different messages, these conflicting messages? What do those just normal everyday people, what do they want? How are they seen? How do they see themselves in this mission? Something that we are in all the time, every day. Like we just eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. But kind of like the ordinary person, maybe they don't understand it, maybe they don't get it. And so some of those more mainstream voices sound more comfortable, make them feel a little bit better with a lot of vague messaging, but it's, that catchy messaging. So Michelle's going to walk us through, how we effectively educate, which is that third tier. How do we effectively educate our neighbor, our community member, to show them who the pro-life movement is and what is the direction that, we want to take our town?
Excellent. So I get some nerd stuff for you because I have the honor of leading our Dimitri Institute for Pro-Life Advancement, which is our research arm within the pro-life generation. And a few years back, we did some what we called movable middle message research testing. So anybody who self-identified as in the middle on abortion, we wanted to know why. So these are just, common public people, not pro-lifers, not pro-choicers, but when given a scale, they would put that little marker right in the middle, and then we did qualitative, immersive interviews, 90-minute interviews to really have them go deeper. What was your first experience with abortion? What was the first time you ever heard it explained to you? And they would really, truly recall some memories that they hadn't thought about, some of them for years. And they started to get into the heart of why they really could not choose one side or the other. And from those interviews, we pulled out patterns and trends, and we started to look at, okay, now that I see you and now that I understand your heart for why you can't choose one or the other, what could bring you on our team? What is it that's going to motivate you? How can I get you over here? And some things that we learned was the pro-life brand is truly broken. When we researched both men and women who were in the middle, both times, the one thing that the men and women had in common was that the pro-life brand is broken. They were uninterested in everybody in this room. I'm so sorry, but it's true. Like, we have to, pause for a minute. What is it about us? And I know that's not true. You guys are amazing. So wait a minute. How did that happen? The misinformation. And how we're painted, right? And how the media truly gets away with how that they are talking about all of you and all the work that we're doing. And it's so unfair. And when we did these interviews, it was a double glass mirror situation. So they didn't know. I mean, that people are studying you. When you do the interviews, you don't not know. But still, you're back there behind the mirror. I just wanted to jump through the mirror. If you had only known about all the pregnancy help centers and all the work we do here, but you couldn't, and you just had to listen. But you start to hear who they think the pro-life person is and why they think, this is not a camp that I want to join. This does not look like me. And that was the biggest hurdle that we have really had to overcome. And if you've been around for a minute, you know that. And everything that these two ladies just said, we need all of that supportive services work if we're ever going to be trusted with this message. Because we can say all day long, look at all these resources. You have to be it. You have to be that example in their community and go where they are. They're not coming to you. They're not going to your church. They're not going to go watch you. They just assume that and write that off of you. You have to get up and go outside to them. Literally knock on their door, and here I am. Wagoning around the resources was the best thing. And then you've built that rapport, and then they're open to change their mind. So we did make messages towards men and women that moved the middle, that got them to reimagine the pro-lifer, and we created the safe space for them, which they need. Don't mock it. They need it. They need that safe space to walk into to realize, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense. And really just to take it a step further with door knocking, this last summer when the ballot referendums were coming. Now, I live in Maryland, and we've had this ballot referendum due for a long time now, and we will vote in November on whether or not we will enshrine abortion through all 9 months in Maryland State Constitution. And because we knew that was coming, one of our big events that we do at Students for Life, we took it into Maryland and we tested messaging at the door for how to talk about the ballot referendum. I did 2 different tests. I wrote 2 different, I'm about to show you, our door hangers. So when you start a campaign for abortion-free cities, this is your door hanger that you'll get. Isn't this great? Look at that beautiful girl in the middle.
Oh my gosh, I know. She's a model.
It was a good hair day for me. Look at the difference. Okay. And then you talk about all of the resources that are in your neighborhood. That's great. So this was door hanger number 1 that we went out in Maryland with. And then I did door hanger number 2 just to see what would happen, even though I knew better. And it was equal rights for all. And it was a timeline of human development. And I thought, my gosh, if people could just see fetal development from start to finish, and if they could just be told, look, abortion through all 9 months, that's no good, and they would listen, I wanted that more than anything. And do you know what I got? Door slam, door slam, door slam. I don't want to see it. What's that? Picture of a baby? No, they didn't want it. It didn't matter how logical and how good it was. And so the people who went out with this door hanger, they had our regular old conversation about serving women, right? But then you turn it over, and we have this little neighborhood alert. It's just a little subtle right there. And so our script goes like this. Hi, are you aware of the local resources in your area? We've got a pregnancy help center down the street that is here for you or any friends or family who are pregnant or parenting, and everything is completely free. Pause, conversation. You're going to know them. They're going to know you. You're talking about the resources. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. You're so great. Can't believe you work there. Me too. And then, oh my gosh, unfortunately, you know, some people in our state would say that abortion is the answer to an unplanned pregnancy. And you know what? No matter how you think about abortion, we're not here to really debate that today. Something really scary is happening. Go ahead and look at this neighborhood alert. We're just warning our neighbors today. We are warning our community that there's a ballot referendum coming that would actually legalize abortion through all 9 months. And so because our community, you know, a couple people don't really like that. A lot of people don't really like that. We just wanted to make you aware. We're just warning, you know, all of our neighbors. You know, if you want more information, go ahead and check that out. And you're kind of gauging the rapport you have with this person. And if they're like, oh, that can't be. No, it really is. Check this out. And you can have a little bit more conversation. If you know what, they're not interested in you right now, that's fine. We've left them with a website at the bottom that we have designed based on that movable middle messaging. So when they go to abortionballot.org, and you can go to that now, that is our public-facing, you're in a happy, safe space, and I'm just going to educate you about this referendum to warn you that this is no good for women, and it does allow abortion through all 9 months. But I can't start with that. I have to start with a women-centered message. I have to start with a resource message, and then you can move into ballot referendum things. And so that's been tried and true, tested, and what we've done is we have made these resources for you, and when you start a campaign, you're going to get to work with Kate, who can customize everything, and if people are interested in more on the ballot, you can give them more on the ballot, and we've just got all kind of pieces for that. But just to know, a lot of research went into this method, and we have watched it work, and it is exciting stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Wow, wonderful. Give it up for Michelle. Wow. And this is great because Michelle kind of naturally just leads into our last critical battle, which is public policy, which is enshrining life in law. So now that we're on the topic of ballot referendums, Jeremiah Wilkerson is part of our Campaign for Abortion-Free Cities cohort program. So if you are interested in being a campaign leader and you would like a little extra guiding and mentorship and a little more structure on, how, okay, I have my things, I have my gear, what do I do with it? Where do I go? How do I implement this strategy? Then you can definitely join our cohort program. And so Jeremiah is in our public policy cohort because he is from Arizona, and Arizona is right now in the throes of a decline to sign battle where the other side is trying to get enough signatures to put about a referendum on their ballot. And so Jeremiah, I would really want you to kind of give us a peek into, what's the current state of things happening in Arizona and, what you're looking forward to do with the campaign in Arizona.
I can do that.
Great.
So in Arizona right now, we have signature gatherers everywhere. They're not from Arizona, they're from out of state. They're being paid by various organizations to come in and gather signatures to, like she said, put the ballot on the referendum, or the referendum on the ballot. And what that does is gives all Arizonans an opportunity to vote yes or no as to whether or not we want abortion through all 9 months in our Constitution. Once that goes in, that will make it so that no more pro-life laws can be passed, and the current pro-life laws will be taken away. We have parental consent requirements that will disappear. We have ultrasound requirements that'll go away. We have a middle-of-the-road ban at 15 weeks. We'll go to a full 9 months abortion allowances. It will be unsafe for women. It'll be unsafe for minors, minor girls. So we want to fight against this, but we're already dealing with tons of misinformation, tons of lies and confusion going back and forth as to what this referendum actually is. Because these people are from out of state, because they don't actually know what's going on, they're telling people we're supporting women's health care, we're supporting contraception. Someone else mentioned ectopic pregnancy care or miscarriage care are all being covered under this, and that's already all protected under Arizona law, just like it was in Ohio. So in Arizona right now, everywhere you go, the library, the zoo, the store, we have a chain called Bookman's, which is used books. They're outside of that. They're permeating our culture, asking for signatures. So right now, we're building a coalition through Center for Arizona Policy, through Arizona Right to Life, local pregnancy centers, like the one I work at, Hands of Hope. We're all getting involved, fighting back against the people who are trying to get signatures. We're there. We go, we engage, we ask them questions, we try to talk to them and explain to them how extreme this is, because often the people gathering signatures don't even know. And once we've done that, they figure out we're pro-life, we can counter-table. We go out. I know of people who've gone out with signs. I know of people who've even gone out with their own clipboard and tried to gather fake signatures. I don't know how effective that is, but we have all kinds of people working together, mobilizing, trying to make sure that that this does not make it on the ballot. Our goal, our commitment is that this does not make it on the ballot. If it does, we now have an existing coalition built up with all the data that I have from Students for Life, from Demtree, all the data that they have from Ohio. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to move forward and fight back against this. So that's kind of a peek into Arizona.
Yeah, wonderful, great. No, and I'm really excited because what's the next step? So something that we are equipping Jeremiah to do is we're going to send him his kit of resources, and then he's going to activate his coalition, and they're going to go door to door. They're going to go to their churches. They're going to go to just like any place where people gather, like those opposition signature collectors were doing. They're going to go, and they're going to go with the pro-life message. And that is what we need to do. Everybody in this room needs to be activated, because everybody in this room, if you're all from the United States, you all have a next step. You all have a next step to take. There is work to do in your town, whether your state is, abortion is illegal or not. There is work to do. And so we really get to see that illustrated here in what our panel has been talking about, how you have to fight information. We have to go door to door. That, like Michelle said, they're not going to come to us. We have to go to them. We have to be that person at the mall who's like, do you want to try a free sample? That's what the pro-life movement needs to turn into. Do you want to know about your local pregnancy resource center? Oh, by the way, did you know that there's a ballot referendum coming that's trying to enshrine abortion in our state's constitution for all 9 months? No, we have to take back the reins. This has to become personal, right? We have to look at our own states. We have to look at our own neighbors. We need to know who they are. And we love people, right? That's why we're pro-life. This is a natural next step. And we're really excited to work with you to get there. So if you're interested, if you want to get even more grassroots and really take your town into your own hands, we are here to guide you. You don't have to do anything. We will supply you with the resources. You'll get your kit. We will customize it for you. We will send it to you. And then you can get out and do the work, because the work needs to be done. Because if you don't do it, then who's going to do it? What's going to happen? Why is there a huge disparity right now in people understanding where they can go for pregnancy help? Why is that there? Like, when all of you are in this room right now, we can all make a difference. We just have to say yes. So let's do something really cheesy. Ready? Everyone say yes. Yes. Say it louder. Yes. Yes. We are going to have an abortion-free future. Yes, I need a little more confidence. We are going to have an abortion-free future. Yes. I am going to take the next step to make that happen. Yes. Do it again. Yes. I love it. Thank you all so much. So some little action items that you can do is come to our booth. And if you are interested in becoming a campaign leader or just getting on our email list and wanting to know more, you can come sign up. We are having a webcast on February 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So everyone write this down. If you are interested in learning more, if you want to fight a ballot referendum, if you want to get out and spread more awareness about the local pregnancy help center, come to our webcast, come learn more, come to our booth and get activated, and come take a door hanger. You can have a sample one. The website, thank you, Michelle. The website is abortionfreecities.org/start. abortionfreecities.org/start. And I believe we have time for Q&A. So if anyone would have questions, comments, concerns, feelings, I'm here for all of that. We're all here for all of that.
My question is for Ohio. I'm from Arizona. I run a pregnancy center in Arizona. One of my concerns is, are we repeating the same things that didn't work? You know, it goes too far, blah, blah. Did anybody use a woman who had an abortion experience and have them talk about that? Do you think there's value in that, in changing people's minds?
Yeah, so I can definitely speak to that, and I'm going to do my best not to hurt anyone's feelings, okay? Because we just lived this, and I went through it, and the students know, some of them can back me up. First, I want to thank you for your work, by the way, because that's very important. So thank you. We're learning, but we're learning a little slow. I always say we fail forward. And I do think that is absolutely true, and I know that within this next year, we're going to see some victories. Absolutely, 100% we will. But we've been learning too slow. One of the things we're learning now is the coalition is a really good thing. We invite everyone in. However, we need to have the same message. And sometimes our messaging can be a little bit of an issue. And it depends who you're talking to. So, you want your messages to be as consistent as possible, but it depends who you're talking to. If you are an adult that has children, parental consent might be great. If you are the largest voting bloc in America, which is 18 to 25, they do not care at all. And so all of that we were pushing, parental consent, parental consent, parental consent. And I went to colleges every day, and they're like, well, I don't have children. And when I was 18, I wanted to do whatever I wanted. I was like, me too, right? We were all kids, right? Some of you are that age right now. You want to do whatever you want. So I do think that's one of the biggest things, if I could talk about it all day, is I wish we would kind of put that a little bit to the side. The other thing that's very interesting in these is no one talks about abortion. They don't talk about abortion. We don't talk about abortion. Someone has to talk about abortion. This is late-term abortion. Bring someone up, like you said. I think that would be wonderful to bring someone up and talk about the experience they had and how much it changed their life. And I know of people who say they only did it because it's legal. And that's going to be people. That's what's going to happen in Ohio and other states. I think it would be absolutely great. But we have to talk about the realities of it. It's about abortion. So, yeah.
Michelle, do you want to share it all, the exit poll?
Thank you. That
Yes,
was
thank you,
exactly
Jamie.
all of it.
I
Talk
hope I
about
didn't offend
abortion.
any of you.
And you go and you look at it. I'm putting together through the research arm a white paper on the states so far that have failed. So you've got Michigan, California, Vermont, and now Ohio, and what they did or didn't do. And they did not talk about abortion. And so it just keeps happening. So if you are in a ballot referendum state, you're going to talk about abortion. We have to talk about abortion through all 9 months, and that's going to be a game-changing thing. And so when you start a campaign, if you are in one of those states, we have a ballot referendum response kit, and part of that are flyers that are going to talk about this. Our yard signs say, vote no on late-term abortion. Vote no, abortion through all 9 months. We are not going to be shy about it. It is going to be everywhere and obvious. It is a make abortion icky again campaign because really, truly, people don't like abortion through all 9 months. And it's our responsibility to bring light to this and to not be shy about it. And I can't tell you not to hurt anyone's feelings, but the yard signs in Ohio and Michigan and California, you could look at it. You had no idea what they were talking about. You had zero clue. Just a vote no and then the issue name. Or, what were some of the other ones?
To give perspective, it said protect parental rights and protect children.
What is that?
Does that not sound like them? Just a little bit? Was it us? Was it them? Who knows? Vote yes, vote no? I don't know.
It's very confusing.
They tried, but we're failing forward, right? Yeah.
We learned that lesson. Yard signs, all the materials, everything is going to be very straightforward for what this issue is about. We have to take this narrative back. We know we have a winning message, so let's stop being shy about it.
Yeah, don't be shy. 2024. Yeah, I'd also like to say, like, I was having a conversation with and then we'll definitely move on. But you know, I hear a lot of like, well, like, you know, late-term abortion like doesn't happen, and it's like, well, one late-term abortion does happen. Why would the opposition ask for something that doesn't happen, right? So why are we not talking about the thing that happens? We know it does. So late-term abortion is very much real, and states are trying to make it very much available. I'm from New York, and abortion is legal in New York through all 9 months. It does happen. We've had women die from late-term abortion in the state of New York. So we need to talk about the thing that exists. Like Michelle said, make late-term abortion icky. It's terrible. You have a question?
Hi, I'm also work for a pregnancy resource center right here in Northern Virginia. Well, not here, across the bridge in Northern Virginia. And I'm just thrilled that we are the foundation of your movement, our movement. And I'll just put the elephant. What is the saying?
Call out the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us PRCs are small nonprofits, and we need resources to be able to help these women. So think of volunteering. Think of holding a fundraiser. Support your local PRC.
Yeah. No. Thank you. No. Pregnancy help centers are just they're so foundational to the work that we need to get done, because women and families need to know that these resources exist. And so working with Standing With You and partnering with Standing With You is so great, because we're just on the ground. We're like little foot soldiers, and we just want to point the fingers to all the places to go, almost like a guerrilla marketing. Like, we just want to get out there and make sure that everyone in our community is aware that there is free, confidential, life-affirming care in their town. Awesome. Any other questions? We have another question? Yes.
I have one. Thank you so much for your time this morning, or I guess this afternoon. And I just have a quick question. So, in what ways are your organizations spreading the information and also resources for high schoolers?
Oh, great. Who wants to take that one? I feel like, me? Oh, okay. We have a lot of people who could say a lot of things about this, so it's like, who wants the hot potato? So definitely social media is a huge thing. We do have an Instagram handle, so at Abortion Free Cities. We use our regional coordinators, so Jamie Curry is a regional coordinator, so she will go to different high schools and college campuses and pretty much being able to say, hey, here's all that is available to you that Students for Life can offer you. What part of the movement, how can we walk with you? Where do you want to go? So social media is a huge way that we get out there and we make our messages known, we make our programs known, our websites, and really we definitely reach into the community, especially when we have campaign leaders. Building the coalition is really important. We want to have the campus ministers. We want to have the college students. We want to have the youth group kids. We want to go into churches. We want to make sure that, one, any person of any age can be involved in this movement, but two, that we are highly accessible. And I really think that we do our best to get out there into the communities to make sure that our resources are known. Our regional coordinators are always doing unique campus visits. We have a field operations team that goes out to schools that maybe we haven't had any touches with yet, and they will go and they will introduce themselves, and they will help activate student groups on those campuses, and then kind of bring them into the Students for Life family and teach them all the ways that they can get involved, whether it be on their campus or in their community. So I definitely say our field team here at Students for Life is a big part of how we are able to do that messaging. So if you're looking to get more connected, I would definitely find a regional coordinator.
And I wanted to add to that just really quickly, as the regional coordinator who's up here, and some of them, they have to leave, so unfortunately, but I had some students who were here from the Diocese of Toledo, and they have public and private high school Students for Life groups, and I go into their high schools and I do something that is called a tabletop, and I do it through the lunch hour. So we all went to high school. We probably saw the Army recruiter that sat in the corner and tried to get us all to join their mission, right? So I go into the high schools and I work with the students, and we put up this tabletop, and it's the Standing With You tabletop. And it tells them about their rights and what is available to them and what resources are in their own community. Maybe they don't need it right then and there, but maybe they know a friend who does, or maybe they have a sibling who does, or maybe it's their own mom. And then from there, it also talks about Title IX rights and what is legally required of the school to help them. And then and we do that at the college level as well. And then these kids, they go and they put up the flyers from it in their school bathrooms. Maybe it needs to go up in the girls' bathroom. We have them for the guys' bathroom as well. You never know. And a lot of people don't think at the high school level, especially, again, not to offend anyone, the elephant in the room, at the high school level with our Christian and Catholic schools, a lot of the times they don't know if we need to be talking about standing with you. And then I had a school that came to me and said they had a private school that came to me and said they had a pregnant student and they wish it would have been there sooner. This is one of the only things that they do now to make sure that their students know of the resources available to them. And not that we're saying that was okay, but how do we walk and help that girl instead of making her feel just shamed, right? And so it does not matter if you're not in college yet. We can come during your lunch hour and we can talk to about this with people. You can door knock still, as long as your parents sign if you're under 18. You can come and door knock with us and do this, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of the high school students love it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions, but we'll be here, and please come to our booth, okay? Booth. Thank you so much.